start in a seated position today. If you need some support underneath your knees, you can always grab some blocks or a blanket to kind of put under anything to make you comfortable. And we'll just start by lengthening the spine, really feeling into the support beneath you. Closing the eyes to help draw the senses in. And we'll just start to notice our breath and where that is for us this morning. Through this noticing, there's often a deepening. You can just follow that or begin that if that didn't happen naturally. See if you can find the breath going all the way to the low belly. And then today, let's work with an Ujjayi breath for this practice. And if that is not familiar to you, it is that breath that makes a little sound in your throat. You can make that by kind of pretending that we're trying to fog up our glasses to clean them. But we do that with our mouth closed. Letting the sensation and the sound of the Ujjayi breath being a signal for our system to slow down. And as you get settled into Ujjayi breathing, just notice how you're showing up today. Without any expectation, judgment, or need to change. And just a gratitude for the ability to recognize where you are at this moment. And then we'll bring the pointer finger and the thumb together. For our practice today, this will be our touchstone. A reminder to stay with the present moment. And over the next several breath cycles, perhaps think of a word or a mantra that you're working with to help you stay with the present, to help you have some intention with your day. And we'll allow that word or mantra to be reinforced by touching the finger and the thumb together. We'll take several breath cycles here, letting that just resonate with your being. Release the thumb and finger from one another. We'll come back to this throughout our practice. Just gently opening the eyes, but keeping the gaze soft, perhaps even towards the floor. We'll extend the arms, interlace the fingers, press the palms away. Thumbs are down and pinkies are extending toward the sky. Check in with the shoulders. If those have moved up toward the ears, you can let them settle down the back. Continuing with the Ujjayi breath here, perhaps feeling into the space between the shoulder blades. And then a slight bend in the elbows as we take the arms up to the sky. You can let the gaze go up as well. Several breaths here. Opening up the side of the body. You can start to release the hands from one another and take a twist to the left. Letting the gaze go over the left shoulder. Stay broad across the collarbones. Several cycles of breath here. The next inhalation, the arms come up, we come back through center. As the exhalation begins, go to the second side. Again, broad across those collarbones. Gaze can go over the shoulder. Gentle inhalations and exhalations. Let's inhale, coming back through center. As we exhale, take the left hand down to the left. The right arm comes up and over, serving a side bend here. Find your Ujjayi breath. And with the right hand, bring the thumb and the forefinger together. Bring your mantra or your word back to mind. You can take your gaze up if you would like, or even down if you sense you might need some more grounding right now. Several breath cycles here. You can release the thumb and the first finger. Inhale up back to center. Exhale. Right hand down, coming over to the right. Find that mudra on the left hand. Staying nice and grounded in the left hip. Gazing up toward the sky, neutral or down, whichever speaks to you this morning. Let's inhale, come back to center. Both arms extend up toward the sky. Gaze can go up toward the sky. Couple of breaths here, greeting the day. Palms coming together. Hands to heart center, and we'll pause right here. Just taking notice the effects of intentional movement and intentional breath. On the next exhale, release the hands, and we're going to come to hands and knees. Have your blocks on either side of your mat in front of you. And I like to pad under my knees, so I will grab a blanket. Scooting the bolster out of the way. And have some room on the sides of your mats because we're going to place a leg out to the side. So first, let's make our way to hands and knees. Really being firm and pressing into the thumb and the first finger. So we can take some pressure off the wrist. Let the exhale take the belly down and then gaze up. Inhale draws everything up, rounding the spine. Several cycles here of cat-cow. Giving our spine some attention this morning. Allowing those vertebrae to have some space. Next time you come through, come back to a neutral spine. We'll take the right leg out to the right. Toes are pointed forward. We're pressing into the pinky side of that right foot. Shifting the weight into the left hand. We'll take the right arm. Inhaling up toward the sky. Exhaling, arm comes down, and it will go through the left any amount. We're going to do this several times. Using that Ujjayi breath, being really strong on the parts of your body that are connected to the earth for a sense of grounding, as we also create an opening. Beautiful. Next time the arm sweeps up, pause there. Reach the fingertips toward the sky. Take a nice long inhale. Nice long exhale. And then bring the right hand down. Right leg comes in and just pause. Take a moment to notice. And then we will shift. Left leg out, toes forward, pressing into that pinky side of the foot. Shifting the weight into the right hand. Then we'll begin. Inhaling up. Exhaling down, nice and easy. Do this several times using the Ujjayi breath. Next time we're here, fingertips up toward the sky, pause. Nice long inhale and exhale. Bringing left hand down. Right leg comes in. And let's start making some hip circles. So we'll let the hip go over to the right. Really slowly back towards the heels. Shifting over to the left. So we're just going to continue with this movement. And you can bring your arms into it, your head and neck. Just awakening the body. Focusing on the hips here. And wherever you are, the next time the hips come all the way over to the right, we'll pause. And then start moving in the second direction. This is a really good place to just feel in to some freedom of movement. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Just beginning to move some of the energy. Or cultivate some energy depending on where you are this morning. And then next time you make your way through, completing your last circle, come back to a tabletop. Curl the toes under, send the hips back, pressing up into our first downward facing dog. You can make this playful by moving the hips side to side, perhaps bending one knee and then the other. And then bring it to a place of stillness. A couple of ujjayi breaths here. And then begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. Find yourself in Uttanasana, forward fold. And just let the head and neck move side to side. Releasing any tension you might have in the neck and shoulders. And then when you're ready, draw the belly up into the spine. And we'll pause here in mountain pose. Taking a few ujjayi breaths, and then bring that thumb and forefinger together again. Taking several breath cycles. Bringing the mantra back to mind. And releasing the thumb and the finger from one another. Gently opening the eyes if they were closed. We'll start to inhale the arms up. Exhaling down several times so we can find this sense of grounding in the feet and legs. With a sense of opening between the hips and the ribs, also along the side waist. Next time the arms are up, we'll put a slight bend in the knees, bending forward, coming into a forward fold. Your blocks will be handy here, and they can be on whatever height is most comfortable. Taking several breaths here, really pressing the feet into the earth. Reinforcing the sense of groundedness. And then we'll come up halfway, taking the left foot back, bending into the right. So we're in a high lunge. We're just going to pause here for a moment. And then we'll extend the right arm, fingers pointing out, away from us. Breathe. Find your ujjayi breath. Release the right arm. Stay nice and grounded. Now we'll take the left out. Breathe. Ujjayi breath. Releasing that hand down. Pull your core in. We'll come up to crescent. Arms going up toward the sky. Gaze can go up. Once more, bringing the finger and the thumb together. Bringing your word to mind, your mantra, whatever it is for this day. Beautiful. One more long, slow breath here. Keep the belly engaged as you come down nice and easy. Step the left foot forward. Releasing into that forward fold. Letting any excess energy created or heat go back into the earth. Coming up halfway, nice and grounded in the left foot. Take the right foot back. Staying in this low lunge. The legs are nice and strong. Engage the abdominals as we take the left arm out. Straight ahead, fingers pointing away from the body. Bringing in your Ujjayi breath. Releasing the left arm. Pausing here, this side is a little bit trickier. So finding your balance, keep your gaze steady. Taking the right arm out. Engaging the belly. And breathe. Release that arm down. Taking a nice long, slow breath. Engage the core. And coming up into crescent lunge. Again, thumb and first finger together. Using this body memory to draw your word and mantra into clarity. Releasing the thumb and finger, engaging the core, coming down, stepping forward into forward fold, Uttanasana. Think of this as releasing the excess into the earth. Hands to the blocks, coming up halfway. A couple of long, slow breaths here. And as you gently bend the knees, pushing yourself up. Several inhalations and exhalations with the arms. Last time to inhale up, palms together, to heart center. Just pause here, gently close the eyes. Just take a quick scan. Noticing how your inner landscape is feeling now. And then releasing the hands. And I'd like to add some breath of joy right now. So for breath of joy, I like to take my feet a little bit wider. So you can as well, if that's comfortable. And as a reminder, it's 3 quick inhales. So we inhale, arms up, inhale to the side, inhale up again, and then exhale, coming forward. So let's do that together. So it's inhale, 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 exhale, inhale, 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 exhale, inhale, 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 exhale. One more time, inhale, 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 exhale. Arms come back up, reach to the sky. Hands together at heart center, release, and pause. Breath of joy can work both for cultivating some energy, but also as a release of energy. Couple of long, slow breaths here. Noticing how that is settling in your body today. Nice, you guys. Okay, we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So have your blocks in front of you and come to a wide stance, something that's comfortable, not too wide that you feel off balance. We're going to activate the legs by pressing into the outer edges of the feet. Hands come to the hips, and we're going to hinge from the hip crease, coming forward and finding your blocks. Maybe that you'd like to start on the higher height. Sometimes when I get down here, I find that I have some more space. So if that has happened to you, please adjust your feet. And then we're going to walk the arms out, and you can do this with the blocks so that we're in a kind of a downward facing dog, but with our legs wide. The hips moving back away from the fingertips. Some long, slow breaths here. Legs stay nice and active. And then walk your blocks back and come into the more traditional forward fold. You might be able to rest your forearms or your elbows, or your hands can be on the floor. Finding something that's comfortable with you, for you, allowing you to stay grounded. Cultivating your energy so that it stays with and works with you. Couple of more breath cycles here. And then use your hands to come halfway up. Start to heel toe the feet together, taking your time until you come back into, you'll find yourself in Uttanasana. Bending the knees. Coming back up to standing. Inhaling and exhaling here. Several times, beautiful. Hands come back to heart center when you're ready. Just pause and notice. Perhaps a few ujjayi breaths here. And then release. Coming back to the top of the mat with the blocks nice and high. Take your feet so they're about hip distance apart. Hands can come to the hips to start. Roll the shoulders a little bit here. Nice. A couple more times. Yeah, and then release. Okay, inhaling arms up. Exhaling down to the blocks. Forward fold. Coming halfway up, step the left foot back. And this time the heels on the floor. Toes are pointed out a bit. Bending into the front knee. We'll bring ourselves up so we are in Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior 1. Arms rising up. And then bring the finger and thumb together once more. Some nice Ujjayi breath here. We are sinking into Warrior One. This is sometimes a nice pose to start the day with. This stability in the legs and a sense of purpose in the upper body. And then we'll begin to straighten the front leg, hinging forward, the hips, finding the blocks, adjusting your feet if you need to. You might need a closer stance for this. Both legs are straight and the right hip is tracking back a little bit. You can have a flat back here to start. Gaze is firmly toward the ground. And if you have further to go in this posture, you can release the head down. Try to keep both legs nice and strong. And then gently coming up halfway, stepping the left foot forward. Release into forward fold. Uttanasana. Any excess energy that has been had can be released into the earth. Drawing the belly into the spine. Coming up, extending the arms up. And then exhaling, coming back down once more into Uttanasana. Halfway up, taking the right foot back, toes turning out, bending into the left knee, both legs stay really strong. Coming up, Virabhadrasana or Warrior One. Thumb and finger together. Bringing to mind your word or mantra. Allowing that to settle into the body to stay grounded and energized. Slow, steady breaths. And straightening both legs, releasing the mudra, coming down, finding the blocks. Might need to move the blocks to adjust, to let the left hip go back a little bit, keeping both legs straight. You can stay in a half back, straight back rather. Gaze toward the floor. And if you have further to go, you can let the back around a bit. Head hangs down nice and easy. And pause here for several breaths. And then drawing the belly up, bring it back, back to a half back. Take the blocks forward, stepping forward, folding all the way forward. Pausing here. Draw the belly in, coming up. One more time, several inhalations and exhalations. Last time for the arms up. Bringing palms to heart center. And pausing one more time. And just noticing how your body is feeling with this practice. And then releasing the hands. We're going to work on Vrikshasana or tree pose. Sorry, my mat's a little sticky today. Okay, both legs are nice and strong. I would like you to choose your weaker side, if you know which one that is, to be the standing leg. So for me, that is going to be my right leg, is going to be my standing leg. So I'm going to shift the weight all the way to the right. And just to start, we'll bring the heel in, toes stay on the floor of the left, and the knee opens a little bit. Once you're here, you can decide if you have further to go. And if you do, sliding the foot up. Hands can come to heart center. And if you have further to go, arms can go toward the sky, bringing that mudra back, the thumb and forefinger, finding perhaps some ujjayi breath. And don't worry if you come out, just take a couple of cycles of breath and try to come back in. And then releasing the leg and bringing the arms down. And then let's roll out the standing foot, whichever one that was for you. And coming back, centering ourselves, shifting to the second side. Bring the heel in, all the weight's going into the standing leg. Everything's drawing towards center. Bring the foot up if that's where you're going. Arms can come up, finding your mudra again. Several cycles of breath here. You can always bring your foot back to the mat, it's fine. Let's release, bring that foot out, roll out the foot of the standing leg. And then we'll be making our way down to the floor to stretch out a little bit and come into Shavasana. So any supplies, props that you like to have for Shavasana, gather those nearby. And then we will meet together, lying on our backs. It's nice to be able to have a blanket under the head. Let's keep the knees bent to start. And then take the feet about as wide as the mat. And the arms out to the sides. And here we're just going to begin to windshield wiper the legs at your own pace. Whatever feels good to you. You can pause wherever you would like or keep it more into a moving posture. And also bring that ujjayi breath back. And then back to center. Bringing the feet back so they're hip distance apart. Let's take the left ankle to the right thigh. Pressing the left knee away from the body. And you might just like to stay here. If you have further to go, you can bring the right thigh toward the chest, holding behind the right thigh if that's comfortable. You can also just do that with one arm. That's how I like to do it. Several breaths here. Perhaps you're feeling this in the hips, the outer thigh. Just let your breath kind of wash over that area. Just as an encouragement for release. And then when you're ready, and taking that right foot down, bring the left foot down. We're just going to pause and notice. Right ankle comes to left thigh. It is possible that the two sides might be different. That's very, very common. So finding what feels good for you today. And if that's bringing the left thigh toward the chest, go ahead and do that. Find your breath. And again, let the softer, deeper breath be encouraging to any parts that are working on release. Releasing the left foot, bringing the right down. Once more, pausing just to notice. And then let's bring both knees in toward the chest. And you can pause here if you would like to kind of rock back and forth on the low back. And then take the arms out to the side. Let the knees fall over to the left, and the gaze goes over toward the right. We're going to stay here for several breath cycles. Just allow your body to release completely into the earth. Focusing on that on each exhalation. About 2 more breath cycles here. And then the next time you find yourself at an inhalation, bring the knees back through center and over to the second side. Letting the gaze go in the opposite direction. Again, just really encouraging your body to fully release into the supports that you have underneath. Couple more breath cycles here. The next inhalation, knees come towards center. Any other movement that you'd like to have, maybe rolling out the ankles. Oh, squeezing the knee into the chest, rocking side to side, whatever feels good as you get yourself situated for Shavasana. You can put a bolster under your legs. If you have a seat nearby, you can put your legs on the chair. I'm going to get to come to sitting, but you guys are going to go into Shavasana. So making sure that you are comfortable, you are warm enough. You can place a little blanket or anything, like if you have a little hood, you can put that over your eyes. Letting all your senses draw inward. And as we settle in, just do a few more cycles of your Ujjayi breathing. Allowing that to help you get nice and grounded. As well as making some space for your practice to really be welcomed and used as a guide for the rest of your day. We'll just use our awareness, starting at the forehead, especially at that little space between the eyebrows. Inviting a softness there. All those little muscles around the eyes. The lower and upper jaw released from one another. Even the tongue is resting inside the mouth. As you exhale, just imagining a softening all around the neck and the throat. Letting any tension there go. And then that softening can move right to that space between the collarbones. Just let your awareness settle there for a breath or two. Each exhalation, allowing that area to move a little deeper into the body. And then move that softness across both collarbones, over the shoulders, down the arms, through the palms of the hands, all the way through the tips of the fingers. Everything releases. Your body becomes a little bit heavier as it releases into the earth. As you bring your awareness to the belly, following the rhythm without changing it. Just a nice rise and a fall there. with every inhalation and exhalation. You can just imagine the belly sinking a little deeper into the body. And that can in turn help to release the back body as you let that move down towards the hips. Soft heaviness can move down the thighs, over the knees, down the shins and the calves, through the soles of the feet, all the way through the tips of the toes. Just allowing yourself to rest deeply for these next few moments. I honor and acknowledge my body as a sacred vessel that houses my inner light. I invite deep rest into every cell of my being. I trust that I deserve to be supported, nurtured, and held unconditionally. I know the earth can hold me. Resting in these next few minutes, we'll be together in silence. Let your next inhalation and exhalation be long and soft. Some gentle movement, fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. And then in the next breath or two, gently roll to your right side and pause there. Take 2 long and soft breaths here. And then on your next inhalation, coming up into a comfortable seat. And once more, touching your pointer finger and your thumb toward one another. Bringing your mantra or your words to mind. Reminding yourself that anytime throughout the day, you can put your hand in this position, the reminder of your practice this morning, the word or mantra you chose to support yourself. And then we'll bring the hands to heart center, bowing their heads in appreciation to ourselves for making the time to practice and for a community in which we can practice with one another. Namaste.